BeamNG.drive has been trying to pave its path as a well-rounded driving simulator. Whether or not you enjoy days at the track, hitting the drag strip, off-roading, or just cruising around, this game has been trying to tackle it all. Hello everybody, welcome to Talks with Noise, and welcome to what Beam needs to be the ultimate driving simulator. I'm attempting to put a fair bit of thought into this video because now over 2,000 of you have subscribed. Again, thank you so much. So please understand me when I say this, but BeamNG needs to be working towards VR support. I know a majority of you don't have VR headsets, as many people don't because they're overpriced, as well as everything else in existence at the moment, and probably forever. Hey, I'm sorry to say, but I'm increasing rent by 7% this year. What? You tell me why. Inflation? You tell my boss, and he's less forgiving. Oh, did I say increasing? I meant decreasing. Good. Now give me VR headsets. But in the event that VR headsets become widely available, and by that I mean people can afford them, and afford to run them, NVIDIA, I believe that Beam would tremendously benefit from the experience. I bought a used headset from eBay, and I absolutely love it. I just can't use it with Beam. Hey, it's Beam in VR. A screen of a screen. Head tracking. This is not exactly ideal, but it's working? Another thing I've noticed is the audio in Beam. It has gotten a lot better since the last update, but there's still a lot of room for improvement. For example, I'd really like to see, or rather hear, the sloshing sound of tires in the mud, tings and thuds on the side panels, the wheel wells blundering foreign material, the terrain around me making noises as I interact with it, usual creaky sounds that you hear from old, broken, and stressed parts, and a lot of other things that you don't realize aren't there until they're added and then taken away. I immediately noticed the lack of cause and effect sounds whenever I was playing in Jungle Rock Island. Plant sound. Twig snap. Plant sound. Ooh, this is immersive. Plant sound. Plant sound. Or the audio sound that plays as you go across the boards on the bridge. It doesn't quite match up with what you'd expect. A bunch of small sound nuances that I think could be fixed or added. So with the new introduction of audio features, I really hope that we're getting a sound overhaul soon. By sound overhaul, I mean I hope there's an audio engineer on the team and they are going to start being very picky. Because sounds in a game make a world of difference. But that's not all. We need to talk about the aerodynamics model. So from my understanding, the developers currently use a handful of vectors to calculate the drag on a car. Don't leave yet, I'm not going to be too boring. But the current model allows for vehicles to fly, as well as allow for vehicles that are inefficient in shape to break speed records, as long as they're very light. You would expect this to be very unstable with all the turbulence. And speaking of turbulence, I would like to see slipstream, drafting dirty air, essentially low pressure zones behind vehicles, which would allow you to overtake your friends when racing. Bringing me to my next topic. We absolutely need multiplayer, official multiplayer. But why for the driving simulation experience? If multiplayer is implemented correctly, it will introduce risks and anxieties associated with most motorsports. For example, games such as ACC and iRacing have safety ratings, and to play with competitive players, you have to have a high enough safety rating. Being too reckless during races and bumping into people causes your safety rating to go down, eventually resulting in you being stuck on low safety rating servers. Overall, I would hope a majority of the game modes would discourage crashing. Wrecks should serve as a punishment rather than a troll's paradise. BeamNG players know what I'm talking about. Delete. And that's why I don't think BeamNG would be good enough for official material. Risk needs to be involved with the multiplayer version of the game. And then maybe some safety rating risk-free servers. Another big thing is the tire bottle. It's gotten a lot better, but it's not quite there. How do I explain this? I spent an evening figuring out the drag coefficient of Beam's vehicles. It appeared to decrease with speed. Hi, I just realized how editing is not going to fix how boring this section is, so I'm going to skip it for you. A developer noted we should see tire improvements in 0.26, but we still haven't seen anything, and it's 0.28. Killing your tires with too much heat and reducing grip as well as wear. In other words, tire thermals would make a ton of difference. Deformable terrain would also be a major perk even if it's not visual. Currently everything feels like you're driving through a viscous material with an impenetrable surface below it. You should be able to get stuck regardless on a vehicle's power. And deep sand and mud, that is. And if you're a bad enough driver, which I can be. But as of right now, as long as you have power and somewhat decent tires, then you're getting out of everything. Hey, need a hitch? Nope, I'm gonna push down on the throttle. Eventually I'll get out. Good luck with that. Look, it's working. What the fuck? I have high hopes that the Gambler 500 update will change how the tires interact with the environment, at least a little bit. I would also really like to see mud, dirt, and water effects on the windshield. Particles that gradually accumulate depending on what you're doing. Also, along with the implementation of windshield wipers. Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. Imagine snow with windshield wipers. It's slow melting and water accumulation. Alright, baby steps. Dirt and water effects on the windows. That's what we need. Hopefully the game's engine can handle that. But overall, I want to bring this discussion back home. The developers have been working on making this game the ultimate driving simulator. The 3-monitor support, force feedback support, motion simulator support. But come on, VR support. You can break the entire game, break the engine. If I can look around and my eyes perceive depth perception, I'm happy. If I can load into the menu screen with VR as the game crashes, I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. And even if it's unbootable and unplayable, but it still supports VR, then I am recommending it to a friend. If you don't have a VR headset, then take your monitor to your face because you're going to love it. It is all the game has ever needed. Subscribe for more content and stuff.